It's another big week here at Garden Crossings. We've got the beautiful Proven Winner truck that just pulled in. And why do we grow Proven Winners? We grow Proven Winners because we know that when we plant and grow Proven Winner plants, we can have confidence that we are growing a quality plant. And we know that once you get it in your gardens, you're going to notice the quality as well. So this is our third ship week, not our third ship week, but this is our third big ship week of the season. Approximately 35,000 plants are arriving today, and we have several more of these 35,000 plus weeks coming. So the team is really, they're loving this time of year where they're getting their hands in the dirt, and the planting season, the greenhouse, it just smells so fresh and so springy. So this is really a great time of year. One thing I wanted to let you know, and I really haven't talked about this much before with these unloading videos, is did you know that Garden Crossings is the only garden center in the United States to carry virtually every single Proven Winner annual, perennial, and shrub? So if you are looking for anything Proven Winners, the annuals, the perennials, or shrubs, Garden Crossings can be your one-stop shop for all your favorite Proven Winner plants. And if you're new and this is the first time you're watching the video, Garden Crossings is a mail order company. We ship plants all over the United States, as well as serving you here locally in our garden center in Zeeland, Michigan. So let's go ahead and watch them unload all these beautiful little babies of today. Ooh, I'm seeing some Super Tunia, Picasso, and purple. Leave it to the pros, Rod. Ah, he's got the trick. New carts coming in full of babies, and the old carts getting returned. Little trike we bought, I think this has been our second, maybe our third year with it. That thing has been a lifesaver. It saves so much time. It allows us to haul multiple carts at a time, so time savings from going back and forth. Plus those carts are pretty heavy too, so it's saving on the back. So you wonder what's inside of a Proven Winner truck. The obvious is all kinds of beautiful babies. So they've got that curtain at the back of the truck, and that's to help keep some of the cold from going inside the truck, because obviously these are all very tender plants. They come from a warm greenhouse and they're going to go back into a warm greenhouse. So you want to keep as much cold off of them as you possibly can. Now we're fortunate today in Michigan. The temperatures are, I think we're in the upper 50s or so. So it's been an abnormally warm spring here, which feels great for us. But I think it's going to be really confusing for the plants as the spring continues to go on, because any real Michigander knows that even though when you get warm temperatures, you know that there's going to be something cold down the pipeline, and even possibly snow. We can get snow in May here in Michigan. So we are really being spoiled with the warm weather, and I think we're starting to get used to it. But we know that we need to keep our winter coats out, because any day could be a surprise with more snow. Beautiful. Now getting all these carts loaded up. Let's go inside and see where the plants are heading to. Another week and another Proven Winner shipment has just arrived. So in the previous videos that we've done, some of you have asked questions like, how do you trim these plants when they come in? So I thought today, with this new shipment that just arrived, and some of these plants are quite large, this would be a perfect time to take that opportunity to just show you what we do when we are trimming these plants. And to be honest, it's nothing special, so let's go ahead and show you. So some of the varieties here that we have right in front of us are the Calibrachoa, or Super Bell varieties. And you can see they're quite tall, at least taller than what we want them when we are planting. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim them probably in about half or so. And the reason why we trim these plants is, number one, we don't want the flowers on them at this stage of the game. Because if we leave the flowers on, these plants are going to put their energy into the flower production as opposed to putting it into the root production. We want these plants to produce more roots and get rooted in the pots that they're going to be planted in. So we're going to go ahead and just take our scissors and just kindly, lightly trim the plants. As you can see, I'm really not paying any attention to where on this plant I'm trimming. I'm just going more for the height that I'm desiring. So as I mentioned, I think I said I wanted to trim them in about half. And that's about where we're at here. We'll see once I get done. I'll show you the finished product. A lot of companies that do trimming, they have machines that they'll send these things through, and it's just kind of like a giant lawnmower type of a thing that trims them all to the desired height. Obviously we don't have that type of machinery here, and I'll just kind of do this and kind of get all those little clippings off. And there you can see they've been trimmed in about half. Maybe a little bit more here needs to come off in a few spots. But for the most part, that's about how we would trim those Super Bell varieties. Take a look and see what else we might have. Here's a pretty one. This is the new Smitten Pink variety of Super Bells. You can see there's a couple beautiful little blooms. If we'll take a close up here so you can see what the flower looks like there of the Super Bell Smitten Pink. Now these are a little bit small, they have to open up more, but you can see they've got that beautiful bicolor with that pink and the magenta center. So we're going to go ahead again, just give them kind of a light trim, trimming them in half, getting all those flowers and flower buds off. I know some of you are cringing right now just at the thought that I'm trimming all these beautiful flowers off, but this really is important for the health and well-being of these plants and getting them to grow beautiful, so that you will receive a nice full plant when they ship out, opposed to a long and leggy plant. So there's nothing worse than leggy plants. You're much better off with a nice full plant because you're going to get more flowers that way. So go ahead and get them trimmed up, kind of brushed off, and there we go. So let's take a look and see what other varieties we might have that are ready for a trim. We're going to actually grab some geraniums here. Now with geraniums, we're a little bit more cautious of how we're trimming these. We can't just come through and trim the geraniums. But what we do with these is we'll look for flower buds. So if there is a flower bud, we're going to go ahead and remove that. We do not want flower buds on these cuttings because, again, they're going to put their energy into the flower, and that's not where we want that energy to go. So I'm just kind of looking in here and nipping off any flowers that I can see. So the team will go through and they'll look more closely when they're planting. But yeah, that's what you do with geraniums, is we're just nipping those buds. Plants you would not trim, although they are really nice and tall, would be the asparagus fern. So these we don't want to trim back because they wouldn't look very pretty after we trimmed them. So these we're going to go ahead and leave just as they are. Bacopa, if this was a variety that was really long, we would trim them. And actually, you know, I'm going to give them just a light trim. You can see how there's kind of some wingers off there. I'm going to go ahead and just give these a really light trim. They're not super tall. We're just going to take a little bit off the top there, even them out a little bit, and get rid of some of the long branching that's going on. This is one plant that I think stinks. It smells so gross.
That's just my opinion. And for those of you who've watched me for any amount of time, you know that I'm pretty free with giving my opinion. All right, let's take a look. We've got lots of carts of plants. Other plants that do not get trimmed. Beautiful grasses, they don't get trimmed. They would not fill out well if we trim them up. And you can see there's a lot of beautiful grasses here on this cart today, but they are just going to be left just as they are. Other plants that we may go through and cautiously trim would be the sweet potato vine, but this is not going to be a variety where we're going to just go in and start trimming them off the top. We'd have to look for vining that's kind of extra and trim that little extra off. Not very often though do we go through and trim these before they're planted. Really, they've done a pretty good job of sending us plants that are like the perfect size, so not a lot of trimming is needed to be done. Here is an osteospermum, a bright light series. These here you can see are fairly tall, so we're going to go ahead and trim these guys back. And this is just how we like to grow our plants. Different growers may do things differently than what we do. And I'm not saying there's a right or a wrong way if other people do this differently than what we do. It's just really a preference from one greenhouse grower to another. That's the beauty of this industry. We can all do things the way we like to do them, and as long as the results are all favorable in the end, we didn't do them right or we didn't do them wrong. All right, let's take, oh, here's a big one. So here, this is phlox, the Intensia blueberry, beautiful plants. Look at all those gorgeous flowers, but this is much, much too tall for planting right now. And these, we're going to give you a side shot. These I'm going to take down by about 2/3 because these are quite tall. So as you can see, I'm right in there at about the 2/3 point. And we're just going to knock these down. This is just some of the things that need to be done prepping for getting plants ready to be shipped out to you, to your homes and your gardens. Things that you probably never even thought about when you buy and order plants. There we go. So there's a lot more to be done, but I'm going to leave this up to the grower team and let them go through and get the rest of them trimmed for today. If you have any questions or comments on how we do or why we do what we do with the trimming, you can feel free to leave them below. We're going to actually head out to the team out in the greenhouses and show you them out planting these beautiful plants and getting their hands dirty today.